Hello everyone. Today we are going to be doing something very different as we are going to be studying our O-level syllabus topic of chemistry, and it's none other than one of the most important topics in our syllabus. It's electrolysis. Now, when I'm studying electrolysis, you may have multiple confusions and multiple definitions that you need to know. Many people mistake on basics and everything. So let's learn it the easy way. Firstly, when we think of electrolysis, what is electrolysis? Electrolysis is the decomposition or breakdown of ionic or covalent compounds by passing electricity, right? That's what you all know. So in electrolysis or electrochemistry in general, we have mainly two things that we need to know. That there are electrodes, there is a positive electrode, and there is a negative electrode. The positive electrode is called the anode, and the negative electrode is called the cathode. Now, these electrodes are not placed like this. You will have a solution, and that solution will be dispersed, and the electrodes will be underneath that solution. Now, the anode is positive and the cathode is negative. However, some people may mistake that anode is negative, but actually no. When we think about the positive and negatives of anode and cathodes, we think about anions. Anions are attracted to the anode. Anions have a charge of minus. They are negative ions, and thus they are attracted to the positive electrode. Where cations are called the positive ions because they are pulled towards the negative electrode. So cations will be going here. They're attracted to the cathode. So now let's study about the main concepts of electrolysis that you need to know and things that will be coming in our syllabus. Firstly, electrolysis can be divided into two parts. One is inert electrolysis, and the other is active. Guys, you need to be very serious on this concept because inert and active electrolysis is something that we all need to know for our O-level syllabus, and if you're a student of class 8 and 9 and even 10. So now in inert electrolysis, what do? In inert electrolysis, you have graphite electrodes or electrodes made of graphite, carbon, or platinum in general. In active electrolysis, you have metals such as copper as your electrodes. Now, difference number 2 is in inert electrolysis, your electrodes will not directly participate in the electrolysis or in the reaction. In active electrolysis, the positive electrode or the anode will actively react in the reaction. Now, another thing that you need to know is that in inert electrolysis, there are things like effervescence that only occurs, and the electrolyte will have changes. However, in active electrolysis, the electrolyte will have no change in color because the anode is what will change, not the electrolyte. In inert electrolysis, we are focusing mainly on the electrolyte. However, in active electrolysis, we are focusing more on the anode. This is what we all have to know. So firstly, let's start with our concept of inert electrolysis of, let's say, magnesium bromide or MgBr2. So this is inert electrolysis. Now, inert electrolysis is also divided into two parts. One is called dilute and one is concentrated. So let's begin with dilute. So if I am to begin with dilute, I'll be doing it this way. So first, let's draw the electrodes by zooming in a bit. Alright, first I'm going to draw my electrodes and the negative electrode. Minus and plus. Now, you may be thinking that this is inert electrolysis. What will my electrodes be? It will definitely be anything such as graphite. So let's say my electrodes are made of graphite. Then what will be my electrolyte here? It's gonna be magnesium bromide. Next up, we need to know what are the anions and cations here. So anions over here are the negative ions are Br minus and OH minus. I think I drew it here. Next up, we're going to think about the cations. The cations here are H plus and Mg plus. Right? So with this, we are going to do the half equations. Now, what are half equations in general? This is something that we all need to know if we are carrying out electrolysis. So first up, we will see in the half equation of cathode, what is happening in the cathode. We are going to be noticing that the H plus ion, according to the reactivity series, which you can see over there, the H is below magnesium, so magnesium will not be going, H plus will be discharged. Okay, so we are going to give it 4H plus, or we can just give 2H plus in general, because H plus is diatomic. So 2H plus plus 2E minus is H2. Right. Next up, we're gonna bring what's happening in the anode. We need to also give the gas. Right. It's a gas. Next up, we're gonna bring the anode. What's happening in the anode? That's 4OH minus arrowed with 2H2O plus O2 plus 4E minus. 4 electrons are discharged. We're going to see that it's balanced. There are an accurate number of hydrogen ions and oxygen ions here. So this was it for dilute electrolysis or dilute inert electrolysis of MgBr2. If you have any confusions, you can just write in the comments below. And if you think I made any mistakes, you can just tell me. It's totally fine. Alright guys, so we just did the dilute inert electrolysis of magnesium bromide. Now we're going to do concentrated magnesium bromide inert electrolysis. So in concentrated, what's the difference? In concentrated, you have to know that there is more solute than the solvent here. So ekhane Br minus will be discharged in place of 4OH minus. Okay, so let's just do this. We have the positive anode, the negative cathode. I'll put minus here, plus here. It's better to make it bigger. Alright, so now we're going to discharge, like, disperse in the electrolyte, which is a magnesium bromide once again. Now, what's going to happen is the cations over here, we identify them as Mg plus and H plus. The anions are Br minus and OH minus. Now what's gonna happen here is, let's just scroll down and let's see what's happening here. At the cathode, we're gonna notice that it's the same thing. We put H plus plus E minus, it's H, but since hydrogen is diatomic, we put 2 here, we put 2 here, and we put 2 here. So it's balanced. Next up, this is where the change occurs. It's in the anode, which I mentioned already, that in the anode, the magnesium bromide, the bromine will be discharged in place of hydrogen. So over here, we're going to put 2 Br minus, because bromine is also diatomic, plus 2E minus, which is Br2, and it's a gas. Over here, it's also a gas. So it's better to write the states of the following substances. So that was it for inert electrolysis. If you guys have any queries, you can just tell me, and I'm going to try my best to help you guys out. Okay guys, now we're moving on to the final phase of our study today, and it's the second part of electrolysis, and it's none other than active electrolysis. Now, active electrolysis is very important, but what if I told you that active electrolysis is easier than inert electrolysis? So firstly, we draw the electrodes, the positive anode and the negative cathode. We disperse it in the electrolyte. And now, what is happening in active electrolysis? Firstly, the electrode needs to be a metal. So let's say we are electroplating impure copper with pure copper. So let's say the anode is impure copper Okay, it's plus, so it's the anode. Impure copper, anode, and the cathode will be pure copper. Now what will the electrolyte be? The electrolyte must be similar to the anode, so it will be, let's say, copper sulfate or CuSO4. এখন guys, let's come to the fun part. আমি তোমাদের জন্য একটু ইজি করার জন্য let's make it a story. So আমরা সবাই জানি যে অ্যাক্টিভ ইলেকট্রোলাইসিসে কী হয়, the impure copper or the anode sacrifices itself, makes itself go directly into the reaction, and they lose its mass. So let's say this anode is the superhero, he's a hero, and আমাদের টিচার যিনি ছিলেন কোচিংয়ে উনি বলেছেন যে অ্যানোডে যেটা উনি হচ্ছে একটা হিরো. So we were told to name any hero from Bangladesh. So we said Ananta Jalil. So let's say Ananta Jalil is the hero. Now who is the villain? It's Dipjol. And who is the electrolyte? It's Ananta's wife, it's Borsha. So copper sulfate is Borsha, copper, impure copper is Ananta Jalil, and pure copper is Dipjol, the villain. So pure copper, what does he want? Pure copper wants to take Borsha's beauty for himself. But Ananta loves his wife. So he's going to sacrifice himself and lose his mass, which causes him to become triangular like this. Alright? So it used to be like this, but it has lost its mass. This mass is being deposited as he is sacrificing himself for Borsha, so that the impure copper becomes pure copper by losing its impurities, and the purities will be deposited to the pure copper or Dipjol. So Dipjol, the villain, is taking away everything. Now guys, let's move on to the half equations. আমাদের এখানে anion and cation তেমন দরকার নাই, but if you want to know, you can just know that there is copper plus, and over there we have OH minus and multiple more. So এগুলা জানলেই হবে. এখন আমরা আমাদের half equation এ যাই. Let's say what's happening in the cathode. So cathode এর মধ্যে কি হচ্ছে, copper চলে যাচ্ছে, so it's Cu2 plus 2E minus, which gives you Cu solid, which is deposited in the cathode. Next up, what's happening in the anode, we are gonna do is, it's very easy, because cathode jeta hoise, we are gonna do reverse of that, which is Cus arrowed Cu2 plus 2E minus. This was it. This is entirely everything that you need to know about active electrolysis. So আমাদের সিলেবাসও ডান. সো লেটস সে আমাদের আরেকটা এক্সাম্পল, লেটস সে আমাদের আছে, লেটস সে আমরা কপার এখানে আছে, এটাকে আমরা ইলেকট্রোপ্লেট করে একটা কয়েন বানাবো ফর অ্যাক্টিভ ইলেকট্রোলাইসিস. কী হবে, দিস কপার ইজ গোনা লুজ ইটস ম্যাস. ওকে, ইটস গোনা লুজ ইটস ম্যাস, ইটস গোনা লুজ ইটস ম্যাস, and it's going to be deposited here. This is what happened in active electrolysis. This will be the anode, this will be the cathode. Okay, আমাদের এটা জানলেই হবে. অ্যান্ড লেটস সে আমাদের ক্যাথোডের রিয়াকশনটা হচ্ছে Cu2 plus 2E minus, it will be Cu solid, and অ্যানোডেরটা অলওয়েজ রিভার্স হবে. It's going to be Cu solid equals to Cu2 plus 2E minus. This was it. If you want, I can also do it with different metal just to make sure যে তোমরা বুঝতে পারো everything. লেটস সে এখানে আছে আমার ক্যাথোডটা যদি সিলভার হয়, আমার ইলেকট্রোলাইটও সিলভার হতে হবে. লেটস সে আমি সিলভার নাইট্রেট আনতে পারি. ওকে, সো আমার ক্যাথোডে কী আসবে, Ag plus E minus Ag, which is a solid, and the reverse will be Ags equals to Ag plus E minus. This was it. So guys, I hope you guys had a good time with me. Inshallah, I hope everyone's exams are gonna end well, and I hope to see you guys soon for more tutorials today. Thank you.